following is brought to you by loudspeak.com.
Kind of when you look at the other choices was people like Resta. But he was kind of out. He wasn't great last year and the year before, and there's a lot of criticism of him floating about at the moment. I think this year, if he doesn't do good this year, if he's just an average driver, I don't think we're going to see him on the next year.
I think the spotlight's on him a little bit, isn't it? Because he is a British driver, and he.
I think
there's a lot of potential to him, and he's kind of. He's not doing a bad job, I don't think. And certainly last season, I don't think he did a bad job. I think he did an okay job, and you'd hope he could do better than that. But I think Force India want to hold on to him for now.
Yeah, I think the potential with Resta is he's more of a test driver. I think that's where he's going to end up in the future. He's essentially a button in my eyes, because he was rumoured with Mercedes for a very long time.
Yeah.
And if Mercedes wanted him that much, they would have had him. But then you look at Mercedes, well, they've had a lot of problems. They needed someone big, and they've got Hamilton in that case.
Yeah.
That's almost Resta's kind of point just out the way. So I don't think he's going to be going to Mercedes now, because I think Hamilton and Rosberg are going to be there a long time. And then you obviously get the link where you say, well, might he go to Ferrari? And I think the problem with Ferrari is that they've got this reserve driver, haven't they? Bianchi. Is it Bianchi?
Bianchi, yeah.
Bianchi, yeah. So the problem with him is, if he gets the seat next week, I think he's going to be at Force India a while, and will eventually end up at Ferrari. But if he doesn't get the seat, and Sutil gets the seat, I think we're going to see Bianchi in the Ferrari a lot sooner, and therefore De Resta won't end in the Ferrari. And I think De Resta, essentially, he's got to completely outshine the rest of sort of the kind of midfield, or even try and break into some podiums. Otherwise, he's just going to remain an average driver and end up in the same position as Sutil, staying in the midfield team, getting nowhere, and then slowly end up in the back team and being chucked out because he's not a paid driver.
It's a huge year for him, really, isn't it? Like, in terms of, if he doesn't perform this year, that could be it for him. But if he really does get a good couple of results in, that could see him, up to another team, maybe getting the chance at somewhere where he could win a race. But that's the other story at the moment in Force India, is obviously Sutil or Bianchi. Still going on. They don't seem to have any concerns about keeping this sort of little bout running. But Sutil seems pretty convinced now that he's good enough to get in the seat and that he's going to get in it, but obviously there's a bit of politics behind it. Do you reckon Sutil, would he be good, do you reckon?
I hope not. I think he had his time, and
Right.
what he did, obviously we can't bring that into it really, but we should. He had such an amazing opportunity. So many people would kill to be in Formula 1, and to throw it away like that, I think that's just, you almost don't deserve a seat after doing that. So for me, he's kind of ruined his chances, and I don't think he should come back. But when you look at it as well, he's been out for a long time, and he didn't look great in testing. Whereas you look at Bianchi, he's been in pre-season tests, and he's been doing a lot of stuff. And admittedly, Force India, they wanted to keep him as a reserve driver for this year and bring him in 2014. But I think now he's proved himself. I think he can handle it. I think it just depends what they want to do. If he is indeed kind of a bargaining tool to try and get Ferrari engines next year, or not, get them cheaper, whatever. I think it really depends on that person. I think the stakeholders, because they're essentially choosing by the looks of it, if he can definitely get Ferrari deal, I think he's going to be in. But I also think he's got the performance to be in. He's new, he's fresh, he's done testing, he's ready. Until he's had his chance. Yeah, he was a good driver, but there was nothing about him that said world champion to me, and I don't think he will ever be one. And I don't think he should be allowed back in because he's had his chance and he fucked it up.
I think that's fair as well, and it's certainly to me, it's more exciting to see new blood in Formula One than it is to see someone who's had a few goes and hasn't really made much progress. I did like Sutil when he was in Formula One his first stint. He did get some good results for Force India, but you do want someone to make a step up. I think he had about 90 races, and you think you've really got to make more with yourself. But talking of new bloods, obviously we've got a lot of rookies in Formula One this season. There's Gutierrez at Sauber, for example. I'm not reading these off a list. Bottas at Williams, who everyone is raving about at the moment. In fact, I think they said he's not really a rookie. What was that all about?
Well, this has been annoying me quite a lot. Williams have come out and essentially said Bottas is not a rookie because he's been in so many Friday practice sessions. But the fact is, he hasn't raced, he hasn't qualified, and from that, you cannot possibly say that he isn't a rookie. He is a rookie through and through. But what I like about him is that he clearly wants to go out there and he clearly wants to win. He wants to go out there. He wants that world championship, and you can just see it. I can't remember the exact words he said the other day, but it was in one of the F1 shows on Sky. But he was essentially saying, "Look, I've got my goals my goals being set by Williams. But I'm going to do better than that." And I think that's what's going to make him stand out. I think out of all the rookies, he's got the best chance, and I think he is going to leave Maldonado in the dust.
That would be impressive.
But I think he's going to definitely be the dark horse of the season. I think he's a definite world championship winner in the future.
Big words. But then he does have the drive of a world champion, doesn't he? The way he does talk about himself, he does seem like someone who's confident enough and he's very sure of himself. And again, this season, I don't know whether, because Maldonado has had a couple of years now. He's had his ups and downs. I don't know whether it's the best mentor for Bottas, someone to learn off of. But if he really does feel like he's good enough to just go and, exceed all his targets, I suppose it's not necessary to have someone who's going to teach him anything.
No, I think from reading at it, through looking at it, I don't even think he sees Maldonado as a mentor. I think he's his own man, and that's what I like about him. From the way he talks and the way he drives, and kind of every time that the camera focused on him last year, he was always really in depth looking at times. And I think he's really just going to be his own man. He's not going to look at Maldonado. He wants to beat Maldonado. Of course he wants to beat him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just think out of all the teammates, I think there's going to be the most tension between those two. And I think Bottas will come out on top.
It'd be interesting if there is some sort of tension between those two, I suppose, because Maldonado doesn't strike me as someone who'd be very good in a kind of feud with someone. I'm sure there would be some sparks flying if that happened. But that'd be exciting.
Yeah, and I think as well, it's out of all the cars, I think Bottas is the dark horse of the drivers this year. And I think the car's the dark horse of the driver this year as well. And I was just saying to you before we were starting this that I want to bring this picture up. And someone, I don't know who it was on live, basically removed the shark fin on the back.
Yeah.
And it's been seen in the photos how tight that rear end of the Williams is. And basically, this is essentially with the fin at the back.
Yep, we'll see.
Where do I think it's coming from? There, so the fin.
Yeah.
So basically, this bit in most cars just carries straight onto the back of pretty much where the rear wing is.
Yeah.
However, with this, when the wing's removed, you can see how far almost towards the cockpit.
Yeah, it's very strange, isn't it?
Huge gap.
Yeah.
So, what people are saying is that it's just got a tiny gearbox that they tried a few years ago.
Right, okay.
And I think what we're going to see here is either a gearbox that's going to perform outstandingly, or they're going to have trouble with it. And if they have trouble with it, they're going to end up in the same position they were last year.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm looking for the aerodynamic benefit of that, whatever that would be. But that does look jarring. I don't know whether I like that aesthetically, I have to say.
No, it's not the most nicest of looking things on the car, but it's going to be saving weight, surely. And that saving weight is going to get them, or gain them some, obviously not seconds, but gain them some time somewhere, and I think that's going to be an important part of it.
Well, I'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's Williams, and obviously there's other rookies in Formula One this season. We've got Van der Garde in the Caterham And then Marussia, we got 2 rookies with Marussia and Chilton. Today Chilton was out testing, but Marussia had a number of excuses by the sound of it. Chilton's been out all 4 days of this test session, and he looks like he's very determined. What have you made of his sort of progress so far?
I think they're doing okay. We can't read into it too much, and we obviously can't compare it to the big teams. But comparing it to Caterham, at the start, it appeared that he was going to be a good second off of Caterham. But as it's gone on, it appears to caught up, and I know he finished ahead of them yesterday. I think he might have done again today. Now I'll get times off.
Let's get some stats towards
I think for Marussia he's going to be good. I think the problem they're going to have now is that they've got 2 rookies who don't know the car. I think that's the problem. But the way I see it is with this testing, it's better to have one or the other in the car.
Right.
For a longer period of time, because that way one person gets to know the car better and can give better feedback. Obviously, if they still had Glock, then it would be split, or maybe Glock would get more time. But obviously, because Chilton was confirmed beforehand, he's probably known the car a bit longer, kind of knows a bit more about the car, and I think he's probably going to give better feedback over time. So I think it makes more sense just to keep one of them in the car to develop the car, because whatever happens, they're going to be at the back.
Yeah.
Basically.
True.
I think it's better just to maintain one driver. And I don't think it's about experience, because Max will pick up soon enough. And I just think it's just going to be a case of Max will probably do better, and I think they're going to put more effort into Max in the long run.
But do you not think for someone like Marussia, it's for them to go and storm into the office and say, look, I want to be number 1 in this team. We're just the same, and I should get as much testing time. It seems like it's a bit of a lack of determination from his part if he's not, really wanting to get used to this car and really wanting to get the performance out of it.
Yeah, I mean, there have been the suggestions as well that kind of the money flow isn't coming in for Brazil as quick as they were hoping.
Right.
Which could be possible, but yeah, I do see a point, and obviously he probably does want to be in the car, and there might be something odd going on, but I don't think there is. I think Marussia, they probably realise they're quite close to Caterham, and the way I see it is that they need one of them to really, really push this car, really push the development, and I think if they have maintained one person, that the development's going to be more consistent and better in the long run.